As many of you remember me, you'll remember me as the kid who was always in the nurse's office or the kid who had diabetes. I'm okay with that because it makes me who I am. But what if I can sit here and tell you today that you can make my life better? Today I'm not asking you for your money or for your help or for your pledge, and I'm not also trying to make you feel bad. I'm just wanting more awareness about the stigma about type 1 diabetes. A lot of people think that if you have diabetes, it's because you ate too much sugar or you was once upon a time fat and now just lost all the weight, when that's not true at all. There's an ignorant-based thoughts behind type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. Today, I'm going to tell you about the JDRF, the Junior Diabetes Research Foundation. All I ask for you is your time. Please be with open ears because everyone thinks with type 1 diabetes that I can't eat cake, I can't eat sugar, I can't eat Hershey bars, but it's actually quite the opposite because I need that stuff to survive and live. If my blood sugar was to go low, I'm not going to eat a healthy snack to bring me up. I need to actually have sugar and actually have chocolate. Unfortunately, type 1 diabetes affects millions of children across the globe. And there's upon hundreds of thousands in the United States alone, and I was one of them that attended your school. Unfortunately, the diagnosis for type 1 diabetes is skyrocketing, and it actually kills more than breast cancer and lung cancer combined. So why do we not hear more about it? I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at age 11, and I weighed 44 pounds, and I was literally on the verge of death. My diabetes went undiagnosed for about half a year. I kept going to doctor's offices that said it was some other sickness but diabetes. The moment that I went into the doctor, and he finally made the correct diagnosis, I was in something called DKA, which is called diabetic ketoacidosis. I stayed in the ICU for about a week, a regular hospital room for 2 days. But in my first night in the ICU room, I literally heard the doctors tell my parents I might not make it through the night because it was too late. Fortunately, I'm here today and able to tell you about JDRF and what you can do to help make my life better and millions of other kids better across the world. So JDRF was founded in 1970 to help type 1 diabetes get more awareness, but also make insulin accessible for all. Essentially what type 1 diabetes is, your body has a pancreas. Every time you eat, your body releases insulin. My body simply doesn't release insulin, and insulin is something I have to take manually. It's kind of like a car. Your body's like an automatic, mine's manual. I just have to, give myself insulin manually. I accessed the JDRF website on April 8th in 2019 and read their About homepage. Essentially, it just tells you like it is that type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease that affects both children and adults suddenly, has nothing to do with diet or lifestyle. JDRF works every day to change the reality of this disease for millions of people and to prevent anyone else from potentially getting it. They do this by funding, advocating government support, because unfortunately what's going on right now is that there's a lot of pushback against support of type 1 diabetes as they look for other things. But JDRF also does, new therapies, such as the insulin pump, insulin shots, and maybe even a pill for type 1 diabetics to step away from needles. But that's all obviously still in research. Stephen Dowson, he's a credible author and has been a diabetic doctor for over 20 years, and especially for kids. He pretty much said that diabetes can make kids feel different from friends, classmates, and family members because kids who don't know other people with diabetes, they feel alone. They hate having to go to the nurse's office before lunch. They hate having to leave class early because it makes it feel different. Unfortunately, type 1 diabetes goes hand in hand with depression. It goes, a child, younger than the age of 10 or maybe as a teen goes through a lot of changes, especially when diagnosis. They may cry, feel tired, sleeping habits. They'll develop anxiety, hopelessness, and obviously depression on top of that. My last source shows why donating your money or also just coming with me this summer to the JDRF Chattanooga Walk to help raise awareness for type 1 diabetes isn't a waste of time. Larry Deebs, another type 1 diabetic doctor for kids, explains how the technology from back in the day when JDRF was first founded to what it is today. In the late 1970s, type 1 diabetes there was only the insulin pen, or the insulin shot rather. And you only gave yourself an injection maybe once or twice a day, and that was very poor care of type 1 diabetes. If you're not giving yourself insulin daily, you're probably gonna die before you're 50. Another thing is how to check your blood sugar. They used urine back in the 1970s. Now it's just as simple of getting blood from my fingertip. But you can only pee so many times in a day, so checking your blood sugar and knowing your blood sugar number was also very hard. In today's time, with that finger prick, I can automatically get it within a couple of seconds, and I can do it as many times as I like. The insulin pump is also a massive new invention, especially in the last 10 years. You don't have to give yourself a shot, and you can literally just press a button and it gives yourself insulin, which makes it much easier for better diabetes care and to help develop to live longer. It's essentially like a catheter or an Ivey, and you just change it every 3 to 4 days, and it especially helps children feel more normal because it helps prevent going to the hospital a lot, nurses, and etc. So now that you understand what type 1 diabetes is and the technological advances, I need to let you know why your help is not wanted, but also needed. Again, JDRF is a worldwide organization, and every year in Chattanooga, there's a walk to not just raise money, but to simply raise awareness. There's frankly not enough awareness in the world in regards to type 1 diabetes around the stigma of eating too much or being fat. If more support for JDRF is given, because it is the world leader in fighting type 1 diabetes, we'll see technological advances that we're seeing today, tomorrow, for the future, and maybe a cure one day. Unfortunately, the rates for type 1 diabetes will go up in diagnosis, which will lead to more deaths and possibly your own kids being diagnosed with it. So what can you do? Do your own research. You would be amazed by looking up type 1 diabetes and what you'll learn. Type 1 diabetes is an amazing disease to actually learn about and just engulf yourself around it. But I'm also inviting each and every one of you today to come with me this summer for the JDRF walk to help raise awareness for it. You can also pledge money for every mile that you walk. So if you pledge $2 every single mile, so let's say you walk 5 miles, that's $2 for those 5 miles. In conclusion, this is my life and millions of others' life as well. It's not an easy disease because you can't even tell I have a disease just by looking at me. But unfortunately, this worldwide fight of ending this global disease is not getting better and is actually in decline, which is going opposite with the diagnosis of it. But I do want to thank you for all of your time and listening to me. Again, I hope to see you this summer walking with me in an effort to eventually cut down this disease and or at least get more technological advances. Thank you.